Moments people fight on paternity court.
Ladies, you guys want to hear the case?
Let's get some order. Let's get some order.
Of course I'm not going to. She's very disrespectful to my father. Yes, you are. You call him a punk. I don't care if he takes care of you or not. He's still your father.
Mr. Lang and his mom, Miss Lang, were on edge, waiting to find out if he was the real dad of little baby Janelle. Mr. Lang was hoping against hope that Janelle was his, despite having major doubts. On the flip side, Miss Brown and her mom were adamant that there was no other possible father for the baby. But here's the kicker. The Langs hadn't seen the child in months, and Miss Brown was not having it.
You and your mother, Ms. Lang, have been waiting in agony to find out if you're indeed the biological father of your little daughter, Janelle. Now, although you have serious doubt, Mr. Lang, you want nothing more than for this child to be yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, Ms. Brown, you and your mother are also here today claiming there's absolutely no other possible father for your baby except Mr. Lang. And furthermore, you argue that neither of you can understand why the Langs are so distraught today because they haven't bothered to see the child in.
The courtroom was buzzing when Miss Lang dropped a bombshell, accusing Miss Brown of sleeping with her son's best friend from the sandbox. But Miss Brown was like, "No way, Your Honor." She claimed she never slept with Mr. Dixon and that he and Mr. Lang were enemies, not friends.
With Mr. Dixon. Mr. Dixon and Mr. Lang have been not friends for a while. They've been going at it, trying to fight each other, trying to find each other.
Okay, so you're saying her assertion isn't true?
No, it's not true.
All right, so take me back. Ms. Brown, what is your account of how this relationship began and then later ended?
We was on and off for 2 years because he cheated on me every other day. I find out about more than 100 girls, I promise.
The backstory? Mr. Lang and Miss Brown had been in an on and off relationship for 2 years, with Mr. Lang reportedly cheating with a whopping 100 girls. I mean, come on, Mr. Lang, what's up with that? But wait, there's more! Mr. Lang got a call from Mr. Dixon himself saying, "Don't get too excited, buddy, because that baby might be mine." Talk about a plot twist.
Let's get some order.
Now Miss Brown was stunned as to why Mr. Dixon would claim to be the father. She speculated that he was just trying to stir the pot because he and Mr. Lang were at each other's throats. The courtroom was like a boxing ring with punches flying back and forth. Miss Lang was all in, saying she saw Miss Brown and Mr. Dixon all cozy in a car and heading to appointments together. But Miss Brown denied it all.
And what happens?
I was at the doctor. I came home and I gave him the paper saying I was pregnant. And he kept the paper. He kept it with him. He even took it to school to show everybody, "Oh, I have a baby on the way." He was excited. He stayed with me through the whole entire pregnancy, birth and delivery.
Joe did.
He was happy to have a baby.
Yes, he did.
I wasn't sure about keeping a baby. I just started college. He begged me to keep the baby.
And so, Mr. Lang, when you found out she was pregnant, you were happy about it.
Fast forward to the birth and Mr. Lang was there, folks. He was there, cutting the umbilical cord, signing the birth certificate, the whole 9 yards. But then, plot twist again. Mr. Lang looks at the baby and is like, "Mama, what's up with this hair?" Doubts started creeping in.
Yeah.
Did you have any doubts at that time?
Not at that time, no, I didn't.
And what made you start to have doubts?
When Mr. Dixon got in the picture, and he had told me to stop messing with her because the baby she's pregnant with could possibly be his.
Oh, so
Leaving
The courtroom was getting heated, with Miss Brown's mom saying she didn't care about Miss Lang's thoughts. But Miss Lang was not backing down. She admitted to being on Facebook, arguing with the kids and sharing her 2 cents. But let's not forget the Facebook posts. Mr. Lang was out there defending his baby, posting pics and saying, "Say we don't look alike! Laugh out loud, boy! That's all me!" But in court, he was singing a different tune, admitting to having doubts.
No doubt.
Ms. Brown, now your mother said she thought she was only there to figure out if the baby looked like them or not.
I don't really care about his mother. It's about me and him.
Look, I would like to think so, but in this courtroom, we call it the way we see it.
Miss Brown was like, if you love her so much, why haven't you seen her in months? And Mr. Lang's mom was ready with receipts, saying she offered to pay for a DNA test to clear the air.
Would get into it, either try to argue with me or try to lie for her son, which she can, I don't doubt, but don't be in my face telling me a lie. Just go away with your son. Like, don't get on Facebook talking mess. She'll get on Facebook, oh, that giraffe, I don't like her. Like, girl, like, I don't know, I can't explain it. She would always get into it.
She called you a giraffe.
Never.
You haven't? Okay, I think we can go back into Facebook messages.
Okay, so hold on, I've heard that. Now, I want to come to you, Ms. Lang.
The tension was thick, and Judge Lake had enough. She was like, give me the envelope before they set me off. And that's when the truth came out. The DNA doesn't lie, but people sure do. So will Mr. Lang be the daddy he hoped to be? Or will Miss Brown have to search for baby Janelle's real father?
Mr. Lang.
You are the father.
You are not the father. Are you? 10, Mr. Butts originally accepted and embraced your son, but has since become an elusive deadbeat who refuses to acknowledge paternity. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Richardson, you claim Ms. Butts is a promiscuous woman of questionable moral standards who has a history of attaching herself to whatever man will take her in.
Yes, Your Honor.
You and your mother say there is no...
Now, according to Miss Butts, Richardson initially embraced Quadier as his own. But then, out of nowhere, he flipped the script. He went from loving father to elusive deadbeat in record time. After all he'd done, he refused to acknowledge Quadier as his son. Drama alert!
Your Honor, I met her on the corner and gave her $2 and a cigarette.
Ooh,
She
he
came
is
back with me.
lying.
So
He
listen,
is
I know I got
lying.
game.
He's a
I know I
fraud.
got
I can't
game, but I
wait.
didn't invent it.
You
the
say-
next man give her $5 and what?
He's
3 cigarettes.
lying. How you lie? Like, how you
Come
lie
on,
like
man.
that?
Seriously.
You gonna take care of mine? How you lie like that?
Trying to hear that.
You lying?
Listen, let's get some order. I want to understand this. You're saying, Ms. Butts, your child needs a father.
Yeah, of course.
Quadier is 3 years old. Beautiful little boy.
But wait, there's more! Richardson had his own tale to tell. He claimed that Miss Butts was the one playing games, saying he only gave her $2 and a cigarette, and next thing you know, she's claiming he's the father of her child. He even suggested that the next guy who gave her more money and cigarettes would be the next daddy in line. Can you believe this guy?
So who's gonna?
So wait a minute. Let's do this one at a time. Hold on, because I hear the doubt. I hear that you all have doubt, and I want to walk through this so I understand how we get to a place where a 3-year-old boy still does not know who his biological father is and does not have a relationship with him.
How many times I went
So
to
hold
the
on.
test?
When's the last time you saw him?
About 9 months ago, and I seen her on the corner.
The courtroom was heating up, and Judge Lake was trying to keep everyone in check, but the back and forth was relentless. Miss Butts was adamant that Richardson was a mama's boy, listening to everything his mom said. And according to her, Mama Richardson wasn't convinced Quadier was her grandson because he was too dark. Talk about ignorant.
9 months ago. And you did that purposefully because you wanted to inspect the baby and you mean it.
Right.
Take the clothes off, see, does it have my features, my attributes? Does it look like my family? Do I see any similarities?
nothing.
When you did that, what did you determine?
He looks nothing like me.
Nothing like
Nothing.
Anthony.
So you
None of my
feel like
baby
he didn't look
pictures,
like
nothing.
you.
He looks
Now,
not even a feature, Yana.
Now let's talk about the moment that had everyone's jaws on the floor. Richardson, in a bold move, steps up to an exhibit to make his point. He pointed out that Miss Butts put another man's name on the birth certificate. That's right, folks. Another man was legally recognized as Quadier's dad. And Miss Butts' reason? The other guy was there for her during the pregnancy, while Richardson was MIA. But let's be real, that's some serious drama right there.
please step over to it and explain it to the court.
When a woman doesn't know who the father is, doesn't she leave the birth certificate blank?
And so this is a sample of the birth certificate.
Right.
And you say when a woman doesn't know who the father is, you leave the father's
She leaves
name
it
blank.
In this case, she knows who the father is. It's not my name. It's not
So
my
you're
name on the
saying
birth
she
certificate.
put another man on the birth certificate?
Exactly.
But the real kicker came when Judge Lake dropped the bombshell that by putting another man's name on the birth certificate, Miss Butts had legally made him Quatcher's father. And Miss Butts was clueless about the legal implications. She thought she was just sticking it to Richardson, not realizing she was creating a whole legal mess.
The right to see the child. Did you understand by just placing his name there that you were creating this legal father? This is a relationship. You didn't understand that. In your mind, you were doing it more out of spite. You not there. This man is the one that's there. I'm going to put his name.
He doesn't use.
The courtroom was a roller coaster of emotions. Miss Butts' own mother, Miss Jendy, was visibly upset, stressing how much Quatcher needed a father in his life. And the resemblance? She insisted that anyone with eyes could see that Quattier looked just like Richardson. But Richardson and his mom were not having it, doubting the resemblance and demanding a DNA test.
He done missed a whole lot. A whole lot.
And that bothers you?
It does bother me, because my baby's a phenomenal kid. Smart, intelligent. Personality is amazing. He's just look at him. He's an amazing kid. Like, he's dumb not to be in his life. Like, you dumb not to be in his life. That's an amazing child. Like, he will bring a whole lot of joy to your life.
Absolutely.
You got a bad day, he knows how to bring you up.
Miss Butts even did a walk demonstration, mimicking Richardson's dorky, slow, thuggish walk that she claimed Quattier had inherited. The whole courtroom was buzzing.
You feel like he has his personality?
He got that dorky, slow, thuggish walk. Like
What is a dorky, slow, thuggish walk?
Trying to be hard, but you ain't. But you're not. Like he walks like
Miss Butts, can you show me this walk? I want to know.
This flat, like, come on, man.
And just like that, it was time for the DNA results. The tension was thick, and everyone was on the edge of their seats. Miss Butts was confident, Richardson was smug, and their mothers were just hoping for the truth. And then, Judge Lake opened the envelope. The courtroom went silent. Everyone's fate hung in the balance as she read the results.
Mr. Richardson, you are the father.
We've got Miss Moore, Mr. Butler, and the so-called manipulating wife, Miss Harrison, all tangled up in a paternity puzzle that's messier than a food fight in a cafeteria. So let's get into it.
Ms. Moore, you say there is only one reason the defendant, Mr. Butler, has doubts he fathered your one-year-old daughter, and that's because of his manipulating wife.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Butler, you argue you've been told on multiple occasions by the plaintiff herself that you are not her child's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because of his wife's meddling ways. Oh, snap! But wait, there's more! Mr. Butler fired back, saying Miss Moore herself had told him he wasn't the father. Talk about a plot twist!
Come on in here. Miss Harrison, it is. Your husband says he was told by Ms. Moore he was not the father of the child.
Your Honor,
Now here's where it gets juicy. Miss Moore admitted to telling Mr. Butler he wasn't the father one time, but only because she was being harassed by him and his quote-unquote wife. Can you feel the tension? Because we sure can.
dates are all wrong, because how can you tell somebody they pregnant in December, but you have the baby in July?
Mr. Butler was all about the doubts, insisting the baby didn't even look like him. And then, Miss Harrison jumped out of her seat faster than a cat on a hot tin roof, ready to spill the tea. She claims she heard Miss Moore deny the paternity over the phone, and she even had text to prove her point.
Okay,
And
go
I'm gonna
for
do
it.
it. And I need that.
When you first found out you were pregnant, Miss Moore,
Correct.
did you tell Mr. Butler? Did he
No.
accept
No,
the
no, no.
fact?
No, I didn't tell him.
You didn't?
My mother told
Mother
him.
told me.
Okay.
I heard her
I want
mother
to talk
did.
to your mother.
I
Ma'am,
said
please
that.
stand.
But here's the kicker, folks. Miss Moore had a fiancé who was stepping up as daddy, and she wasn't shy about showing it off. She even had a picture with him, and man, it stirred up the pot big time. If you thought that was all, think again. Miss Harrison had her own theory, questioning the baby's birth date and the math behind it. Miss Moore clapped back, schooling her on the timeline, but Miss Harrison wasn't buying it. She was convinced that another man was the real father.
Tell me what happened that day.
When I went into labor, I started having labor pains on the 25th. On the 26th, my blood pressure went sky high. When my blood pressure went sky high, my doctor came in and told me that my baby's heart rate was going down. So as it was going down, she was getting less oxygen. So they had to get her out. And when they got her out, I did not see my baby. I went to an emergency C-section. When I got out of recovery for 45 minutes, I touched my baby and signed my baby off.
Now let's talk about the real MVP of this episode, Miss Moore's mother, Miss Gutter. She was the one who broke the news to Mr. Butler about the pregnancy, but he claimed he never got the memo. Classic case of he said, she said.
After Zamara is here, at some point you do reconnect.
Yes, after he made a hospital visit, after my baby had left, then yes, when she turned 2 months, because there was so many doctor's appointments, including while I was pregnant, I was seeing 3 doctors at the same time. And he knows that. He knows that.
I
So
don't know
after
nothing about that, Your Honor.
You were
Nothing.
there at one.
Fast forward to the baby's birth, and it was a rough one. Miss Moore had to sign her baby off to a hospital in Mr. Butler's city, but she kept him in the dark about it. She said she didn't want his mental self around her child. Ouch. When the baby was 2 months old, Miss Moore finally took her to see Mr. Butler. He was all, "This is my last baby," and paraded her around like a trophy. But then he'd vanish like a ghost in the night.
Looks more like Mr. Butler than any of his other kids.
And get this, Miss Moore's fiance was being called Dad by the baby. Talk about a soap opera. But wait, there's a twist! Mr. Butler admitted to running to Miss Moore's house after fights with his wife. Was he seeking refuge, or was there more to the story than he was letting on?
At the house 2 weeks ago.
So he was supposed to be there to live.
The single point I'm trying to understand is it true that you decided you'd maybe go and stay at Miss Moore's house with Zamara? Were you gonna go over there?
Tell the truth. You're on dog.
Yeah.
So you did. And you thought, and was it because you felt like this was your daughter?
Yes, I did.
When the judge asked Mr. Butler if his wife was influencing his doubts, he was adamant that these were his thoughts. But folks, we've all seen this show before, haven't we? As the drama unfolded, everyone was on pins and needles, waiting for the results. Was Mr. Butler the father, or was Miss Moore's fiancé the real daddy? The anticipation was killing everyone in the courtroom, and it was time for the truth.
Mr. Butler,
Yes, ma'am.
you are her father.
We've got Miss Allen, Mr. Levant, and Miss Lanier in a love triangle that's messier than a toddler's birthday party. Miss Allen is out to expose Mr. Levant for denying their 6-month-old daughter, Layla. She claims he's only doing it to keep his affair with her a secret from his girlfriend, Miss Lanier. And let's not forget, Mr. Levant and Miss Lanier have 3 kids together.
Denying your 6-month-old daughter, Layla, only because he's desperate to try to keep your affair with him a secret. You're here to expose that secret and prove paternity. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Levant, you and your girlfriend say you know you are not the biological father of the child in question and will prove your claim.
Now, Mr. Levant is adamant that he's not the father, and he's got his girlfriend, Miss Lanier, backing him up. They're convinced Miss Allen is just trying to break up their happy home. But Miss Allen is not having it. She's here to prove Mr. Levant is the daddy, and she brought receipts, people.
Split up for just the one night.
You split up for one night.
It was not
we just,
one
we
night,
just split up.
Your Honor.
Like we was going through some stuff,
No, it wasn't.
and
Yes, it
we
was.
had
No,
a
it
break
wasn't.
for a minute.
Yes, it was
No,
a
it wasn't.
one-night stand.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
You just married because I got my baby, so be quiet. You wasn't here.
So wait a minute.
You tried to break up a happy home because you knew we had 3 kids together for the longest. You've been commenting on my Facebook profiles and all that.
The courtroom was buzzing when Miss Allen accused Mr. Levant of being a deadbeat dad. She's hurt, folks, and she's throwing shade left and right at Miss Lanier, who she says is feeding Mr. Levant lies about the baby's looks. The audience was gasping as the drama unfolded.
Oh, we're
We
back
was
and forth in a
off and on.
relationship for 5 years?
Yes.
Sleeping
We was off and
together?
on.
Never.
No, we was off and on
Never.
type of relationship.
Y'all never was.
We
Mr.
was-
Levant, were you talking to Miss Allen while you were in this relationship with your girlfriend?
No, I was not.
You met her in 2010.
I met her in 2010.
When you
said
met
you-
her, did you tell her you were single?
Yes.
Never.
Never.
Yes, he did.
No.
Yes,
He
he
never
did, Your
did.
Honor. He was texting me.
But wait, there's more! Mr. Levant claims it was just a one-night stand that happened during a brief split from Miss Lanier. But Miss Allen quickly shut that down, saying they had been in an on and off relationship since 2010. And Miss Lanier? She's on fire, accusing Miss Allen of stalking them and trying to wreck their family since day one.
The calendar you
Yes,
brought.
that we.
So on this calendar, you claim you were intimate with Mr. Levant on the 27th of December.
Yes.
Your due date
Was the September the 26th.
was
2000.
September 26th. So, Mr. Levant, do you agree with what this calendar asserts?
Not at all.
You don't believe that?
Not at all.
Why not?
The dates is wrong. You
Okay.
text me a letter, a doctor's letter, saying that you was pregnant on the 6th.
On the 6th of January?
Yes.
No, it wasn't.
Did you bring that letter?
No.
So, okay, that doesn't negate the fact that you all may have had sex on the 27th of December.
I told
But
him
she
I
was having
pregnant.
sex with other
I
men.
told-
And
Now here's where things get spicy. Miss Allen brought a calendar to court to prove when they got busy. She marked the 27th of December as the night of conception, but Mr. Levant wasn't buying it. He's all, no way, the dates are wrong. But Miss Allen wasn't backing down. She was confident in her timeline.
Biological father, when you admittedly slept with Mr. Mitchell as well during the window.
Me and Mitchell and I did not finish what we did. Me and Jerome and I finished the intercourse.
Ms. Lanier,
yes, Your Honor.
how did you find out?
Just when you think it can't get more complicated, enter Mr. Mitchell, the other potential daddy. He had a fling with Miss Allen too, but he never thought he could be the father. The plot thickens.
Since 2014, when my first child was born.
So you knew.
She's been stalking us since day one. We've been together for 5 years.
That's not 5 years. Y'all been together for 3. Thank you.
We've been together for 5. The dates do not add up.
The courtroom was on edge as Miss Allen and Miss Lanier went back and forth. Miss Lanier accused Miss Allen of sleeping around, but Miss Allen denied it. She's standing her ground, insisting that Mr. Levant has always been her one and only.
This is a series of text messages between the two of you?
Yes.
Text messages?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, happy Valentine's Day, Lele.
Lele.
Lele, Daddy loves you. Happy Valentine's Day to you, Carlisha. Then you send a picture of
Layla.
Layla. And then he says, Mr. Levant says, what's she do?
The tension was through the roof when Miss Allen pulled out text messages from Mr. Levant, where he's all sweet, calling the baby Lily and saying, Daddy loves you. The crowd was shook. Mr. Levant, though, he's like, those texts are fake. But folks, the text had his number on them.
But if you're just talking to her on the phone and nothing was really happening and you weren't having sex with her, you weren't leading her on except a one-night stand. This is like a movie or something. One-night stand leads to her wanting to destroy your entire family?
Correct.
Why?
Because she know I'm a good man and I take care of my kids.
No, you don't. You want to take her, Layla?
Now, I will say this. I'm not overlooking the fact that you have reason.
Miss Lanier is not having any of it. She's ready to walk away from Mr. Levant if Layla is his. She's putting her foot down, and the stakes are high. Judge Lake had enough of the he said, she said, and called for the DNA results. The courtroom was silent, and the results were in.
Mr. Mitchell, you are not the father.